Hey guys, it's me Shadow here, and today I want to talk about Honkai Star and Genshin Impact. These two games are in probably the most similar state they've ever been in right now, where both of them have so much negativity surrounding these games, and the devs just don't care. The Hoyoverse just does not care enough about their players to give a damn about their complaints. And I want to talk about this now in this whole video. I'm going to talk about both of these games, and later on down the video I'm going to talk about all the stuff that's affected these two games. So first off, we are going to be talking about Genshin Impact. For someone that has played Genshin Impact from day one, I'm a day one player of Genshin, not exactly day one, but I think I played like a week after the game came out, so I'm like the first week type of player. I have seen this game at its peaks and at its lowest, and this game has been at its lowest more than it's been at its peak. And people that have played Genshin knows that. They just know it, it's just a fact. And the problem is with this game is that this game refuses to improve. And that's just the thing with Genshin. From Inazuma, what we felt like we had something. Inazuma was so goddamn good. From the characters, from the lore, from the story, everything from Inazuma was so good. Don't get me wrong, it isn't as good as like Fontaine, but it's my personal favourite area in Genshin, because that's when I fell in love with the game. Everything in Inazuma, every single update, I loved. I loved the introduction of Ito, I loved Yaimiko, I loved everything in Inazuma. I think it was so well done. And then we go from one of the highest points in Genshin with Inazuma to a lantern, right, and then the chasm. The chasm for me, the only good highlight part about that damn update was Yelan. Yelan was like the only good part about that update. The rest of it was awful. And then after the Yelan, we probably got the worst year of Genshin Impact ever. Like, in this game entirely, and that was Sumeru. If any motherfucker thinks it's good, like Sumeru's good, they're a fucking idiot. That region, start to finish, was awful. The story was awful, the characters was awful. There was no fucking point to that region, none at all. And the problem is now, is that that region was supposed to be the most game-changing region, because oh yeah, we got a new element, we got some new team comps, but guess what? It was fucking shit. Dendro kind of ruined the game. It didn't feel good. Playing as a Dendro character felt like dry wood. It felt like you're just using a character, like using the same fucking character as your other characters, but doing less shit. It feels really bad to play a Dendro character. And I will say this, and this is probably not going to be a hot take, I think Sumeru is one of the worst updates I've ever played in a game. And that's coming from me. I've played thousands and thousands of games. Sumeru is one of the worst updates I've ever played. That's a fact. And any motherfucker wants to agree to disagree, yeah, we can do that. But that update, from start to finish, is horrendous. The story is awful, and every single one of the characters in that region was just fucking boring. The only good character that was in that region was Dia, and guess what? She was the worst character in the game when she came out, because she was awful. How do you do that, Genshin? Like, Hoyoverse, this is like a genuine question to you. How do you make a character be really intriguing, have a really cool design, but make it the worst character in the game? So yeah, I think Sumeru was at its point, and with all the accusations going around in Sumeru with certain content creators, voice actors, and shit like that, it was just horrendous. It was the worst time to be a player of Genshin Impact. I can tell you that for sure. And then I think at the end of Sumeru, or even halfway through, a lot of people quit, including myself. And you know why? Because the updates wasn't good. The game wasn't improving as we hoped it was for this region, because this region had so much promise. We had an introduction of a new element, some new characters, and a story. Everything was, the stars were aligning for these regions, for God's sake, this region. And then guess what? The region came out and it was one of the worst fucking things ever. But I will give Genshin its props. They was in the shitter for about a year, and then they dug themselves out of it slowly with Fontaine, and then they got out, and then they started building up into a castle, because Fontaine was really good. Everybody can agree that Fontaine was amazing. It is the best region in Genshin from start to finish. It has the best story and the best characters. And then that region itself was really damn good, but it also had the other issue from Sumeru, is where the most hyped up character being Chino was the most basic bitch I've ever seen. Don't get me wrong, I love her character design. I think her character design is amazing. But her story was so fucking basic. Oh, she has childhood trauma because she was adopted and she got forced to kill her childhood best friend. That is the most basic, generic anime shit I've ever seen. I'm sorry, but like, if you're gonna do a story like that, at least let us like learn about this childhood friend and let us learn about these characters. But they don't do that. They don't. And then when is it Coraline came out, the bitch with that? When she came out, that's when I quit because she was the only character I was interested in. Then I did her quest and it was the most generic, basic, boring shit I've ever played. So I was like, fuck this game. I got her, quit. Haven't played since. And then since then, Natland came out, and I think Natland's now reaching its end. And every single update with Natland, it feels like there's some issue, there's always controversy, there just feels like there's always an issue with Natland. So, no, I didn't go play Natland, because I've got better shit to do, and I actually have a life outside these damn gacha games, but I saw some of the cutscenes for the game. Yeah, the cutscenes look good, but then I saw the actual story itself. Bro, the story just seems like, what the fuck is this? Why? This whole region doesn't make sense to me. And that's like the biggest point to like me as a viewer, is that when they marketed these different regions like years ago in that big trailer, they basically showed that this region will be a region of war. No end. No end, bro. Yes, you can say, oh, people died. That don't make it a region of war. I have not seen out of these whole fucking casts, in the whole cast of Natland, one person have a battle scar. I'm sorry, what? You have a region of war and then you have some of the most weird fucking character designs I've ever seen. I'm sorry, but you've got a fucking furry on roller skates in a region of war. You've got an Archon that has a motorcycle with a leather fucking suit. I'm sorry, but what the fuck is this? This has to be some of the most weird fucking combinations of character designs and characters I've ever seen. Don't get me wrong, I always give Hoyoverse credit for their character designs because I think they do a good job with Star Rail's character designs personally, and they do a phenomenal job with ZZZ's character design. But why is Genshin's just took on the back burner and just said, yeah, we don't give a fuck anymore? And then every fucking update in that land has been just full of controversy, players shitting on it, people wishing for black characters in the game. I'm sorry, but like, as someone that's of colour, a person of colour, if you really think black characters, like a Chinese company's gonna add black characters to their game, you're a fucking idiot. Because you know why, bro? They don't care. They don't. They do not give a fuck. But yeah, this region from start to finish has just been full of controversy, and the story has been dog shit. Because you know why? I forced myself to watch a full, what was it, 12-hour video of just the story of Natland. I would never get them 12 hours back of my life. I would never get them 12 hours back of my life. And guess what? I didn't understand a damn thing that happened in that damn region. Because, bro, that was the most awful 12 hours of my life I've ever put myself through, and I'm not doing it again. So fuck that region. Another thing I want to address, and I don't know much about this situation specifically, is kind of like Hoyoverse entrapping their fucking content creators in contracts and shit. Again, I've seen people talk about this, and I want to bring it up briefly, and I don't know if it's true, because again, I don't look into this type of shit. But if this is actually things that's happening with the Hoyoverse creators, that is fucked up. That is just straight up fucked up. Because for one, they are basically forcing you to basically praise and only play their game, and then they're also forcing you to be quiet because you can't talk about anything else. That is one thing I've always said, is that if you have a voice, let it be heard, because a lot of people nowadays are silent, and as someone that's very quiet as a person themselves, I'm usually quiet, but when I have to say something and I really have to say it, I let myself be heard. And that's what Hoyoverse is doing. They're kind of imprisoning their fucking content creators and forcing their silence with these contracts. And I see why, because these content creators, their life is Genshin. Their whole existence is Genshin Impact or Honkai Star Rail, which is fucking horrendous. I remember seeing a video about a VTuber, and then how they just wanted to play Wuthering Waves, and then the Hoyoverse devs was just forcing them to play Genshin Impact. That shit was fucking horrible to watch. And again, I don't know if it's all true, I don't know if it's meant, because the thing is, the one thing I've also about the Genshin community is that there's so many liars, there's so many shit talkers, there's so many, not shit talkers is whatever, but there's so many liars in that fucking space. It is so hard to trust people. And don't get me wrong, I don't communicate with people, I like chilling on my own, I like going solo, I like being on my own, bro. But this whole fucking space is just full of toxicity and lies. It's just hard to trust things nowadays. And then when all the receipts get put out, and that's what people have been started doing, thank the Lord, because people have been accused for some weird shit without any evidence. It's so good to see, and I hope, for the love of God, that they stop doing these contract shit, because they are literally the amount of creators that are leaving their program right now. It isn't worth it. Are you really going to sell your soul? It's not really selling your soul, but sell your silence for a company just because you enjoy their game? Don't get me wrong, I love FromSoft games, but if FromSoft fucking asked me to sign a contract and not talk about any other game, I would not sign that shit. And you know why? Because I value talking about other stuff. And that's the thing, is that people don't, if they talk shit about their favourite thing just because they spent money on it, they're going to hate on you. I don't give a fuck. I do not give a fuck. I've spent, almost £20,000 on Warframe? I don't give a fuck. People can shit talk me all day, but I adore that game. That game is one of my favourite games ever made, and I still believe that game is the best free-to-play game ever. That game is so damn good. But guess what? I don't care what people say. Oh yeah, you spent £20,000 on that game for what? Because I wanted to, and I enjoyed the game, and I still play it to this day. Anyway, let's talk about Honkai Star Rail. Okay, Honkai Star Rail for me now is in the situation I was in with Genshin like a few years ago as Sumeru came out, where this next update was at 2.1 does not look good. And I'm gonna be honest, that live stream they showed off showing Tribi and that like God of War type of dude, I did not care for either of them characters. I'm gonna be honest. The story for 2.0, the 12 hours of story was so bad. I do not care for any of these damn characters. And that's the thing, is that, oh yeah, they plan to make changes in the next update. Was it 2.3? I don't care. You should have implemented these changes months ago when people were complaining about Penacony's damn storytelling. But no, you don't want to do it then. But now, one thing I do like about Star Rail is that everybody has opened their eyes to how bad the storytelling is, and it's not just a small majority; it's a lot of people this time, and that's why they're trying to implement changes in quotation marks. Implement changes, and you know why I think this fucking type of shit is fucking weird to me is that they're gonna do this. They're gonna implement changes, try buff old units, try fucking add a skip button in. But that's not gonna be enough to fix the game. You have 100 hours of game before that. Are you really gonna leave that unfixed? Because don't get me wrong, Belobog, perfect. You can leave Belobog. Belobog is fine. The Lafu, I enjoyed the Lafu personally, but it does have its problems. And Penacony, it's a mess. And then now Amphorius is also a mess. You have two regions that are a mess right now. Are you refusing to fix them? Because it's one of my only issues with another game we'll talk about later in the video, is that they need to go back and fix their own issues before they start working on the current issues right now. They need to buff old characters, they need to fix the story, and they need to get a new damn writer. Because the writer for this game is horrendous. Don't get me wrong, he did his props in the Lafu and Belobog. I'll give him his props for that. But the current writer that has been writing, I think his name's like Shoji or something like that. I don't know. I know they showed him off in the latest live stream. But the writer for Penacony and Amphorius is abysmal. One of the worst writers I've ever seen. Don't get me wrong. Yes, he's probably paid to write. He's probably implemented stuff he's added into like a game format. But this is not good storytelling. Honkai Star Rail has not had good storytelling since Belobog. The main reason why people didn't mind the Lafu, because there was so much shit happening in the Lafu that was really intriguing, which just hooked everybody. We had Tingyun die, kind of. We had Kafka Blade, Don Hung's transformation thing. There was a lot of stuff that happened to the Lafu that everybody liked, including myself. So I don't really mind the Lafu personally. But the writing needs to be fixed, and that's my main issue with Honkai Star Rail now, is that the story isn't good. So I'm going to be honest, the gameplay for Star Rail isn't there. It just isn't. There's like the majority of people that play Star Rail now play it for the end game. That's just a fact. And people try to do zero cycles. People try to do whatever. But majority of players now play it for the end game. Because the end game is okay, I guess. I don't really care. I can't beat the end game, so I ain't gonna play it. But it's one of them things where, like, why the fuck would you give a damn about an end game? It's one of them things where, like, the end game, like, content creators or the end game players, their point of view, usually majority of the time, are fucking biased to that game because they enjoy the end game and they enjoy doing their stupid little fucking challenges like zero cycling for what? Just to prove that you have a strong team? Bro, go outside, bro. Like, generally go outside. Go touch some grass. Fucking hell. And players like these never talk about the criticisms of these games. And the criticisms of these games are the first things that needs to be brought up in a gacha game. Because these games strive on their player base. If these player bases just think, oh, it's all like sunshine and roses, they're never going to improve. And guess what? The Honkai Star Rail community, the Genshin community, has allowed this to happen for too damn long. And now we're at a point with both games where they're probably the worst state they've ever been. And they need major changes to fix them, to bring them back up to that prestige they were. I don't think there's ever fixed in Genshin. I'm going to be 100%. Genshin had years to improve and it never did. But Honkai Star Rail, I don't think it's too late yet. At the end of 3.0, if not enough changes have been made, I think it will be too late. But I think implementing changes now is the best time. So instead of decorating this game and trying to support this game, fucking call out the criticisms for this bullshit. Because this game needs to be fixed. Because don't get me wrong, I love Star Rail. I think it was one of my favourite gacha games when it first released, and it was like that for years. Because I think Star Rail did such a good job of a bunch of stuff. I think I only took a break from Star Rail once, and that's when Ron Main and that little green girl came out, because I didn't care for any of the characters. And then I came back for Penacony. And Penacony was really good. It wasn't good, but I enjoyed it. There we go. And since then, since I came back to Star Rail, it's been like an up and down heartbeat monitor. It hasn't been good. The most recent update I've enjoyed was probably when Rapper came out. And the Rapper quest, her backstory was great, but the whole monkey shit was horrendous. I really enjoyed Rapper. And not a lot of people did. I don't know why. I think she's one of the most enjoyable characters in the game, especially for a turn-based type of game. But now we're in a point where they haven't made a good solid update in, like, was it months? Because everybody's been demanding ever since Face Shell came out that they need new writers, they need to fix the game. But they failed to listen because they have billions and billions of dollars, multi-millions of dollars, and they don't care about players' voice opinion. And I think that is where they're going to kill themselves. That is where they're going to shoot themselves in the foot. Because gacha games, and I think a lot of people that have played other gacha games know this, that players' voices and the player base themselves make these gacha games. They build these gacha games themselves. It wasn't the developers put updates in, they made the foundation, they made the story, yada yada yada. But the players made that game popular. The players brought that game to life. The players is why you're successful. If the players turn on you and you lose a majority of your player base, and then when you open your eyes and start changing things, that will be when you're too late. Because if you try to change things when majority of players will quit, you're gonna be in the same situation as Overwatch right now, when they're gonna add new implementations because the competition is doing so well. And that's where I'm gonna talk about my final point: the competition. The competition now for gacha games is huge. It's a massive. And we have so many good gacha games coming out, and Hoyoverse is now Hoyoverse has now no choice but to improve their games, because Wandering Waves, the first week of Wandering Waves, we had changes. I don't think it was the first week, but it was very quickly. We had a lot of people voicing their opinions on the game, and they were fixed really quickly, which was amazing to see. And that's one of the main driving points for Wandering Waves, is that the devs listen, the devs care about these players' voices. And we've been demanding Genshin listen and Honkai Star Rail to listen for years, and guess what? We've had no communication back. We've had no fucking feedback. We've had nothing. There are so many good gacha games coming out at the minute, and people just don't care about what Hoiverse is doing, because it's like playing fucking Overwatch, like I just said earlier. It's like playing Overwatch. If you want to go play a worse version of a better game, go do that. And I ain't no one stopping you to go play that worse game. But you must know that the objective, the other side, is way fucking better. For example, ever since Wandering Waves came out, I've been playing Wandering Waves. I've got back into ZZZ, even though I haven't played it in about a month. I picked up Punishing Grey Raven a few months ago. I'm going to start playing Limbus Company in a few days. There are so many good gacha games coming out, and there are so many good gacha games out currently, that Hoyoverse now is the ones that are dragging the whole pristine of gacha games down. And what I mean by pristine is that Hoyoverse was the original people, not the original gacha game people, but were the original company to drag the gacha game space to where it is with Genshin Impact back in the lockdown era. And that's the thing, you can't deny for what Hoyoverse did back in lockdown, because it was game changing. Genshin Impact was the best gacha game then. But now that people have actually started making gacha games where they actually want improvements, where devs are making improvements, where people are actually making improvements to their game, and there's better gacha games with better stories coming out, these Hoyoverse games are being left behind. I'm not caught up to ZZZ yet, so I'm not going to talk about it that much. But even ZZZ I heard this most latest update is very worrying to some people. Again, I haven't played it, but yeah, I think this is the problem now, is that competition is good for games because it forces change. And this is the best thing that has happened to Hoyoverse in years, is that the competition is strong and it is so damn good. Wandering Waves isn't going anywhere in my opinion. After 2.0, I think the first update of 2.0, I think it is fine. I think it's made a staple to where it's placed in gacha gaming. We'll have to look at it a few years later on, but right now I think it's in an amazing spot. Same with ZZZ. From what I've played, the game feels really damn good to me. I love the story for it, I love the characters, and I think the gameplay is really cool. And I think that is a very niche type of game, ZZZ, because I know not a lot of people are the biggest fan of it, but I think it's cool. I like it. There's so many good gacha games right now, and Honkai Star Rail and Genshin Impact, they're not holding their weight anymore. They just not. In my opinion, if you cannot hold your staple in this space anymore, and you just don't care, and you just want money, just keep doing what you're doing for your games, because that's what Hoyoverse has done now recently, is that on the most recent Mawivka banner, whatever the fuck her name is, they've put 2 brand new characters on the same rotation. And then on Honkai Star Rail before, she's still out, but when Aglia came out, we had an 8 character banner, which is fucking stupid. These types of fucking money moving shit isn't smart, it's fucking greedy. And that's one thing, gacha games have always been predatory, it's one of their main practices, but this is just really greedy, especially if you're a free-to-play player, because if you're a free-to-play player, there is not enough Primo Gems, there is not enough Stellar Jade in the base game, in the updates or the events they come out with, to get either or some of these characters. There just isn't. For example, I was trying to get her, and I did everything in Event Forest. I did everything, I got all the chests, everything, and I did not get her. There was not enough Stellar Jade in that whole thing to even get 20 pulls. I'm sorry, but you do an 8 character banner and you can't even get 20 pulls? That is absurd. And yes, the events come out afterwards, and it's still not enough to get fucking at least 2 of the characters. Everything in this everything that Hoyoverse is doing right now is so bad for them, because everybody's shit talking them. For example, Tribi is coming out soon for Honkai Star Rail, and she has already got a disdain on her character reputation. Not for the character design, because she's a fucking child for one that shouldn't exist. For her kit. Her kit as a character is busted, and it feels like when Silverwolf came out and she broke the game. And I'm going to get into this in a minute, but these types of characters shouldn't be launched in this state. What they should do, in my opinion, they should rotate the banner and put that Kratos dude first and put Tribi last, so they can still work on Tribi. Because from what I've seen of Tribi, she's insane. And if you have her, you can clear everything. Don't get me wrong, you can clear anything with any character in this game. But these fucking characters that are just made for money, people made for these whales, so they can just zero cycle the game to flex on people, is insane. It's fucking stupid. Now, I want to talk about the final thing I want to talk about is characters. And a specific type of character, which I call the broken characters. These broken characters are characters that break the foundation of the game. And I'm going to say this now, there's a few in these games. For fucking Genshin Impact, it was Farina. It was. If you had Farina, you were set. Farina and Nuvilet, if you had any of those characters, you were set. But before them, it was Raiden Shogun and Sarah. If you had those two, you can clear the game. There are so many of these game-breaking characters, but I don't know about the most recent characters in Genshin, because again, I don't play the fucking game. But when it comes to Honkai Star Rail, as I mentioned earlier, Silverwolf broke that foundation of the game. And the problem is with Honkai Star Rail now is that team building is like non-existent. You have one set team, and if you don't want to use that team, you're not going to clear the content. It's absurd. For example, Super Break. Super Break in Penacony was probably the most pushed team for Stanglethroat. And then at the end of it, it was follow-up and other shit. And now, if you do not want to use, if you don't want to use Super Break and you want to use true damage, yeah, you can use that. But if you want to go use an older team like Dart, you ain't gonna clear anything. You ain't gonna clear shit, because you now have these certain characters that now wipe that elemental status. Not wipe it completely, but ignore that elemental status so you can clear the content. That breaks the game. It doesn't just break the foundation of the gameplay, because it also does that, but it breaks the game itself because it ignores the basic gameplay elements by ignoring the elemental fucking things the characters have, what they're called, the elemental types the characters have. And that is just insane, because it just makes this game not full anymore. For example, in Super Break, you have Fuga. She's basically a better version than Harmony Trailblazer, but she also is a better version because she ignores all elemental types, because she's Super Break. Make that make sense. And then in ZZZ, again, I haven't played it, but I do own her, Mayubi, the cat girl. She is so broken that she might be the broken character of that game. But we'll have to see in a few more patches, but I don't know why Hoyoverse thinks it's okay to release these characters in this state and break the foundation of the game just because they want another meta forced down players' throats and not give players their creativity that they want to do. For example, if I wanted to run a team of a follow-up attack character, a dark character, maybe a support or whatever, I can't do that because that team functionally doesn't work. And then I want to buff old characters, that doesn't fix the problem. Your whole gameplay element of your team building is abysmal because you've removed that one component from the whole element of team building. Back in like 1.1 of Star Rail, back in Bellabog, back in the Lofu even, you can still clear the game with like a few characters even without these characters that broke the game. But now they just seem like, yeah, every character fucking does it now. So it just ruins the game because the enemies now are just, they're not taken seriously because you can just fucking kill them instantly with any character. And that just ruins the game in my opinion. And I do think they need to seriously start adding these types of characters again, but will they do that? No, because they're greedy and they just care about fucking money. So yeah, that's all I really want to talk about. I just don't think these games are ever going to improve personally. Am I excited for the next Honkai Star Rail update? Like I said earlier, no. I don't think it's going to be good personally. Am I excited for the changes that are going to be happening in Star Rail? No, because Hoyoverse has not had a good track record of implementing good changes, for fuck's sake. But like I said, at the end, I've said this many times, at the end of 3.0 in Star Rail, I will make my judgment if the game is worth playing anymore. Because at the 3.0 at the end of fucking Genshin Impact, it wasn't worth playing. And then they had one of the best updates after that. So we would have to see. But for now, that is all, guys. I did say I was going to get 2 videos out this week, but I did record a video and it got corrupted, so I don't care anymore. So yeah, this will be the only video for this week. Next week I'll try to get 2 videos though. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you later in a bit. Peace.